Found a fun story here. Firm wins Space Force funding to provide an aircraft carrier in orbit. Wouldn't that technically be a spacecraft carrier? Aircraft insinuates air. I'm just saying. Before you start thinking of like a giant aircraft carrier in space, it's not. Firm wins Space Force funding to provide an aircraft carrier in orbit, taking tactically responsive space to the next level. Literally. A rendering of Gravitic's orbital carrier vehicle. And this is the carrier vehicle. As you can see, it has a bunch of satellites inside. And as we go into the story, it's very cool. And as we go into the story, this is the most important part. Shielding satellites. In interviews about the concept with ARS, company officials were fairly vague about specific details of what orbital carriers will be able to do. A news release published Wednesday morning highlighted the strategic funding increase and grant for the United States Space Force. But in general, the idea is to provide an unpressurized module in which one or more satellites can be pre-positioned in orbit. Such a model would isolate satellites from the space environment, sparing their batteries and sensitive electronics and harsh thermal cycles every 90 minutes, and provide some shielding from radiation. In addition, the orbital carrier would obfuscate the satellites inside from observation by other nations and hostile actors in space. Then, when the satellite is needed, it can be deployed into multiple orbits by the carrier. So, this guy just floats around with his his spacecraft, satellites, keeping them from observation, keeping them safe from interstellar radiation, dust, debris, keeping them powered up, and just in this small carry device. This is a brilliant idea. This is a fantastic idea. I wouldn't be surprised if you were to see something like this, like Gravitics, work with SpaceX in regards to like Starlink, because we know the Starlink satellites are very small. You see them flying over all the time. All the time. And something like this, if you could save wear and tear or repowering or having to replace because of repowering needs by simply having a carrier out there that can recharge, perhaps there's a way they can clean them off from interstellar dust and debris. Who knows? The limits of this are so small and the benefits of it are so great. And you hear aircraft carrier in orbit, and it's a catcher, isn't it? It got my attention. But the idea that you can basically sleeve a couple of satellites in there, deploy them as necessary, and bring them back is an innovative idea that should be undertaken by the U.S. military and U.S. commercial satellite companies as well. That's why I say SpaceX needs to be involved in this. That's brilliant. And they do go into the possibilities of habitats for humans in the future. Gravitics was founded in 2021, build large-scale structures in space for habitation and other purposes. Name reflects a long-term desire for provide artificial gravity. And it goes into, possibilities of that. I won't lie, I am fascinated by the technology that it is offering here. I'm fascinated by the technology it's offering here. The cost reductions in space, travel, space, use have gone down dramatically. I remember a chart I saw a while back of the cost of orbital weight to bring certain amount kilograms into orbit, and its cost was in the thousands of dollars. And SpaceX has that down into the single digit dollars now. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, and it's a wonderful thing. And something like this that could extend the life of satellites, do basic basic things, such as recharge the battery. Perhaps the solar panels do collect interstellar dust or something like that. You could seal it in and just, with a puff of oxygen, kind of blow some of that shit away. What a great idea. What a great idea. Basically, it's like your local garage in space. Kind of like that. Your local garage, your local fix-it shop in space. Except it's fully automated and private. Private. So many private companies are getting into space. It's so wonderful to see. And I know there's a lot of talk of, is there even a place for NASA anymore in space? I think there is. I think there genuinely is. Gravitics isn't looking for the asteroids that are going to hit us. SpaceX isn't looking for the comets that are going to hit us. They're looking to expand our breadth and travel. So everything has its place. I think private needs to take us forward, and government needs to make sure we don't get plinked off. That's important. But I love this aircraft carrier in space. Can we just call it a spacecraft carrier? I mean, it is space. An aircraft insinuates air. Spacecraft insinuates space. So firm wins Space Force funding to provide a Space Force carrier in orbit. What we're doing in space is going to be groundbreaking as long as we don't blow ourselves up. I certainly hope that we don't. But with that, I appreciate you coming in and listening. Spacecraft carrier in orbit. Sounds cool. Basically a fix-it shop in space. I like it. Let's keep expanding. Let's keep thinking outside the box. This is what we need to be doing. If you like it, hit like, share it with a friend, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.